Hey, Shalom. I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Kakadash. That one said, Apostles, elders, of great millstone that rule well. And peace and salutations and blessings upon blessings to you sincere brothers out there who push the truth across the four corners of the earth. And just a real quick one. Brothers already know this, but it's just part of the basics. You know, we have to kind of go over the details to freshen up. So recently I was listening to a video and I heard an Israelite going to the book of Jasher, which is I think it's actually Yasher, as a source of information on the Bible. Now real quick, the scriptures tell you, Joshua 1:8, it says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success." There you go. And that's another scripture also that confirms that we still supposed to rehearse the righteous acts. We're still supposed to try to rehearse the laws. Like I said, the book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. So, and there you go. You're supposed to meditate upon it. And with this particular book of Yasher, or Jasher as they say, the Bible does make mention of it. Joshua 10:13. It says, "And the sun stood still, the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood in the midst of heaven and hasted not to go down about a whole day." Then it mentions this 2 Samuel 1:18. Also he bade them to teach the children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher. So we know that there is a book of Jasher somewhere, but the one that Esau has online is false. And it was right. I just read that, Joshua and 2 Samuel. Now, one thing you notice, it was published in Salt Lake City, and usually if it's legitimate biblical works, you know, we use the 1611 King James Bible, which was published in London under the authority of King James. This was published in Salt Lake City, 1880s. In Salt Lake City, in that whole Utah area, it has a lot of Mormons in it. So that's kind of a red flag right there, because Mormons like to change stuff and they like to wing stuff from the Bible, and it doesn't add up with the rest of the scriptures. And what the scholars would call this is non-canonical, which canon is means a rule of law. So the Latin word was taken in ecclesiastical use for a decree of the church, general sense, a rule of or principle, standard of judging. Then it came to be known for catalog of acknowledged saints. So when people say non-canonical, they're talking about books that are accepted in the order of the Bible, in the scriptures. So this particular book, which was man-made because we don't have the actual book of Yasher, this would be considered non-canonical. This is false. This is fictional. And you might say, well, okay, how do you know that? Well, first off, let's read this. This says this is one of the apocryphal books of Yasher, meaning they took it out. It says there are several, as many 5 separate works by this title, all composed much later than biblical times. That's another red flag. This particular one is a translation of a Hebrew book printed in 1613, and that's another one too. You know, scriptures talk about if you add to the book, your name is going to be written out of the book of life. So, and Esau, like I said before, Esau likes to add things to the scriptures to try to add extra shit and add extra confusion, but none of that stuff goes with the spirit of the Bible. I'm gonna just jump here to chapter 23. Boy, I was kind of reading through it, and saw a couple of errors And like this part, verse 86, it said, Behold, Satan came to Sarah in the shape of an old man, and he came and stood before her, and he said unto her, I spoke falsely unto thee, for Abraham did not kill his son, and he is not dead. And when she heard the word, her joy was so exceedingly violent on account of her son, that her soul went out through joy. She died and was gathered to her people. And when Abraham had finished his service, he returned with his son Isaac to his young men. And they rose up and went together with Beersheba. And they came home, and Abraham sought for Sarah. So basically it's saying her soul went out through joy. She died. Basically, she died of joy because Abraham did not kill Isaac. And wait a minute. It also talks about, where is it at? Salakia. Said. That's okay. I'll get it next. Oh yeah. She cried and prayed to the Most High till she bare thee at 90 years old. And now hast thou served this day for the knife and the fire to be made an offering, but I console myself with thee, my son. So it's basically her, weeping because she knows Isaac is about to be killed. But in Genesis 22, when Abraham is told by the Most High to take Isaac and kill him, as a test to his faith, it doesn't mention anything about Sarah. It doesn't mention anything about that. So it doesn't even make it known that Sarah even knew about that. The Most High told what Most High told Abraham to do, because certain things were not given. Certain things were not given unto women. And then the next chapter directly, she dies, and Abraham weeps for her, and she's buried. So this adds a whole bunch of dialogue to that situation. Like, she found out he wasn't gonna die, then she died of grief or whatever. And then Abraham and Isaac go and wept over her. Now they did weep over her, but the specific situation was that it just says she died. It doesn't tell you, any of the details like that. And that's just one thing. I mean, if you sit here and you read through, you're probably gonna see a lot more stuff there too. It's just a book that's adding to the scriptures that's not correct. That's what I'm trying to say. It's adding details that the scriptures don't give you. And at this point, if it wasn't given to King James for him to go ahead and place in the book, it might not never be revealed to us. You know what I'm saying? This might be just something that was lost. Or maybe the Spirit of the Lord will have the real book of Yasher come out. But as far as this, and Esau knows it, it's called pseudo. Jasher, pseudo means fake. It's an 18th century literary forgery by Jacob, what is this? Elive. It purports to English translation. So the supposed lost book was declared an obvious hoax by Monthly Review. Hey, so these Edomites, they do that kind of shit. They make fake shit up. They just like the Joseph Smith, his version, his addition to the scriptures, where they talk about people in the Bible were cursed with dark skin. And then people who were chosen by God, they were blessed with white, pure skin, that kind of shit. They tried to insert their own stuff in the Bible when the Bible clearly tells you it's dealing with dark-skinned people, right? Solomon was dark-skinned. Solomon was outside of the Lord, Yahushua. He was the wisest man in the Bible. And he said what? Behold, I am black but comely. Black in their being, well, if I can get that. Black being what? what is it? What's that word? Shakar, black. Now this says blackish color of the face. It's talking about dark skin. All right, it's dark. That's what it's talking about. Dark. Solomon was dark. Adam was dark. Okay. King David was dark, even though it says he was ruddy. You have a ruddy as in like a ruddy cow, which is brown with a reddish hue to it. So you still to this day you have all this confusion over the scriptures. You have all these people walking through the desert, walking through all these hot ass places. Look, that's not the main point, but none of them were white. I'll put it like that. For you to have skin that your blood shows through, like Esau, you know, his name was Esau, cursed, wasted away as he, because his skin was wasted away like that. You could see his blood through his skin. That was a curse. Okay, when Miriam received leprosy, that was a curse. That family, there's a family in Genesis. Salaki, I should have pulled it up. That they were cursed with leprosy as well. So hey, these people, all these men in the Bible are dark-skinned men. Okay, and they're spiritually Israelites. I put it like that. And Israelites come in all shapes and colors. You got tall, short. You know, you just like the animal kingdom. You have genetic diversity. Okay, two dark-skinned people, they can have a baby that's light-skinned, so-called light-skinned, a lighter shade of brown. Two people with a darker shade of brown can have a child with a lighter shade of brown. Two people with lighter shades of brown can have a child with darker shades of brown. All this new bullshit about, you know, everybody was, you have to have super dark skin and so-called Negroid features. Well, we did have certain features, but you have Israelites who are scattered all over, who lost those features because they mingled with the other nations. But that's a subject for another video. I just wanted to do this one on the fake book of the Bible, the book of Yasher. This is not canon. This is not a part of the scriptures. Shalom.